Good morning to you, good morning. June the 8th, 2023. Le Fête Dieu, the Feast of Corpus Christi. Not quite sure how video is going to work out today. I'm going to have to delegate some of the video shooting. And yeah, you know, we're in uncharted territory as filmmakers go. The basic idea is that today we're going to, you might use the word parade, we would probably prefer the word process, the Blessed Sacrament around the town of Saint-Michel-en-Brennes. For very Catholic people, this is a big deal. Very Catholic people believe that the Blessed Sacrament is the body of Christ, is Christ. And I'm sure you've all got your own thoughts, own ideas about that. But that is what most of the people taking part today firmly believe. Now, it causes quite a bit of effort. You know, if you are going to parade Christ around the town, then maybe you ought to tidy things up a bit. And what we've seen over the last few days is gangs of marauding nuns armed with a rosary and a pair of secateurs. They've been raiding homesteads all across the area, stealing all of the flowers. Bless them. No, they were invited, and yeah, there are no vicious gangs of nuns mugging old ladies for flowers. That's just a bit of Faber nonsense. But they have been gathering flowers, they have been working hard decorating the Abbey. Now, the first bit of the film, if it goes according to plan, and we always remember what Clausewitz taught us, you know, plans never survive first contact with the enemy. That's a good pair of, you know, Christ and Clausewitz in one video. Well, there we are. The plan is that the first bit of the video will be looking at the way that the sisters have decorated the paths and around the Abbey. I think you'll like that regardless of your beliefs, your religion, or lack thereof. The second part, if that works, if I can find a willing volunteer who understands how to press a button on a camera, will be the procession itself. What you will see is a great gang of assorted clerical sort of people, priests and deacons and such likes, with various bits of equipment, things like crosses, and they'll all be dressed in quite, some of you will say exorbitant, some of you will say unnecessary, but, you know, just look at it, take it as a spectacle. They'll be dressed in chasubles and stoles and all sorts. And four of us will be carrying a thing called a day, which basically it's a canopy, it's a frame with a roof on it, which protects the priest that is carrying the monstrance and the Blessed Sacrament itself. Behind that will be millions of nuns. Well, I don't know how many, perhaps 80 or so, from the Abbey here, but from one or two other abbeys. You know, it's a day out for them, and yeah, it's a bit of spectacle. I appreciate it's not to everybody's taste, but it is what it is, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy seeing it. I hope you'll enjoy seeing it. But we start by collecting my passenger. Well, we start by having coffee and a chinwag and a walk around the garden and things like that. But, you know, it's about collecting my passenger. Well, we've made it thus far, arrived at the Abbey, and there are preparations going on. And parking is turning into chaos because normally we all simply drive straight into the Abbey, but not today. Now, those of you that like detail, this is l'Abbaye St Cyran at Saint-Michel-en-Brenne. And as you see, we're still working hard, making the paths. And what is used to make these paths is sawdust. Oui,
Parce que ça l'intéressera de faire des pochoirs, elle.
Oui.
Parce que moi j'ai des planches fines pour faire ça.
Oui. Et je
Mais
regarde.
ils ont fait le reposoir là-bas, non?
Ah, oui, 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 je marche, oui, oui. Now, this is the day which I will be carrying, not on my own, I hasten to add. It isn't that heavy, but it's heavy enough when you walk a mile with it. Well, yeah, as I was saying earlier, as Clausewitz teaches us, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. Yeah, it wasn't the enemy. The chap that was going to be slinging the camera for me, he was required to take the arm of a lady who was determined to walk behind the procession, who needed an arm to lean on, shall we say. So I'm afraid we didn't get film of me and my mates processing the Blessed Sacrament through Saint-Michel-en-Plaine. It's quite a spectacle. You have a chap up the front carrying a huge, very decorative cross, and then behind him we had a chap with a thurible. Now, some of you are now sort of wondering, what on earth is he talking about now? What's a thurible? A censer, you know, the burning handbag thing so beloved of certain religious families. Burning incense. Now, he was walking backwards, incensing the way. Then we had a couple of children who had baskets of petals of roses that they were throwing into our path. And then there was the four of us carrying the day with a priest inside it, carrying the monstrance with, well, we'll stick to saying the Blessed Sacrament. Some people will say the body of Christ. I'm sure some people will say it's just a biscuit. Well, if it was just a biscuit, we wouldn't have carried it a mile and a half when the temperature was nudging 30 centigrade. So yeah, you missed out on that. Maybe next year. Maybe next year.